Hello everyone and welcome to our IFA International Press Briefing. My name is Ole Tillmann and I welcome you on behalf of the entire IFA team. And I'm really excited to introduce our new CEO, Leif Lindner. Leif, welcome.
Oh, welcome Ole, thank you so much. Thank you for your interest all over the world.
Leif, we have a lot to talk about. A recap, IFA 2023, also your new role as a CEO and your vision. And then also the very special occasion, IFA 100 next year as IFA turns 100 years. So a lot of material. And of course, we also would like to answer your questions. So please feel free to submit them by just scanning the QR code underneath the streaming window with your mobile phone. Follow the instructions and then please offer your questions and we're happy to discuss them afterwards. So, Leif, before we have a look into the exciting future of IFA, let's have a look at the past. How happy are you with the results of IFA 2023?
To be honest, Ole, I'm quite happy with the results of IFA. You know, we have more than 180,000 visitors. We had more than 2,000 exhibitors. And the press coverage overall was quite positive. Of course, there is room for improvement, as always. But overall, IFA was definitely a success.
Congratulations. So you just mentioned it. Where would you see room for improvement at IFA?
Yeah, first of all, communication. Communication on all levels is the absolute key. And navigation had to be improved. That means how people are guided via, for example, newsletter or app and when they are on IFA. And of course, on site when people looking where to go. Then IFA definitely had to and will get a more event character, like a festival. And for us, it's important that we get the greatest possible market coverage. That means we want to have all market leaders at our booth and also innovative concepts that we want to show there. Last but not least, everything had to be inspiring for all journalists and media to join us.
Yeah, that sounds very good. And I know for you as a person also, Leif, customer feedback is really, really important. You have a very close ear to the market. One of your first initiatives as a new CEO was to conduct the C-level survey. What were some of the results that you took away from it?
Yeah, for us, it's absolutely important that we are listening what our stakeholders are thinking. Therefore, we are starting that survey even during the IFA and after the IFA. For the exhibitors was quite important that we have a real good, that they have a real good B2B relationship. That means they do good business, they do good interaction, they have a lot of exciting talks. That went quite well from the perspective of the exhibitors. Also, what was mentioned that it was visible that the IFA is going a new path, that there is some change already. Significant was as well that IFA 100 is marked as an absolute perfect moment to show the change and look for how to get in a new time age. For retailers, I was also happy that the overall feedback was quite positive. Of course, as I mentioned in the beginning, operational issues were criticized, and we know that. And they're looking for more digitalization. That's absolutely true, and we will work on that.
Of course, the customer experience for them must be absolutely digitized. That makes sense. So for the consumers, what was some of their feedback?
Consumers looking for entertainment. They know the IFA from the past, where lots of things happened, for example, in a summer garden. And they're looking for brand activations. That means that brands like you creating a buzz, creating excitement on the booth. We looked at it at this year's IFA. There were very good examples, but for IFA 100, there will even definitely be more.
So that was the second trade show since the pandemic. Markets recovered slowly. In how far was the pandemic still noticeable on the floor?
Yeah, what was clear, or what is clear, is that people looking for more interaction. If you take a look at the current special interest press, or for example in a Harvard Business Magazine, everybody is mentioning that digital only is not the solution. There is an absolute recovery If I take a look what happened in our Clarion universe, over 300 shows that Clarion is organizing, most of them are recover on a scale above the situation before the pandemic. People missed the real life experience. People looked for interaction. They want to touch, see, and feel the product physically.
So digital only is not a solution. It can only be a real life experience where you get your hands onto the gadgets, where you experience the brands, and that's really at the core of IFA, right?
Yes.
So if we now zoom out a bit from IFA and we look at the market more in general, are there some trends that you can observe?
Yes, thanks to the very good partnership with the GfK, I want to talk about three things, three trends. There is a clearly promotional driven growth. Of course, everybody knows we have currently Black Friday, so everybody is aware that promotions are going on, but I'm not talking only about Black Friday. General promotion activities motivate consumers to do sales that they maybe were not doing without promotion. Because everybody is aware that the current economic situation keep customer more cautious, and that therefore it's important to create a buzz not only with promotions but to do intelligent ones. Second, brands like you offer security. In difficult times, people focusing more on the big brands, and therefore IFA is the show where you can boost and, let's say, fire up your brand. Third thing is sustainability is a priority for many consumers to decide to buy something. Not only in home appliances, but for home appliances, in this moment, it's one of the key decision factor to buy a product.
Yeah, makes absolute sense from my perspective. So, Leif, now that we see these large trends on the horizon, let's come to another very exciting topic for you personally as well.
Yes.
Being the new CEO of IFA. Leif, how do you assess the potential of IFA? Why did you say yes to this?
Yes, very good question, Ole. So, first of all, I'm very proud to get this responsibility because I'm a typical Berliner, born in Western Berlin a long time ago. So for me, I grew up with the IFA. It's easy to understand what had to be happened there. And it's the largest trade fair for consumer electronics in the world. Oh my God, how can anybody say something like this? And Albert Einstein was opening the Funkausstellung 1930 with his own personal words. So that's unique. Nobody else can do that.
Absolutely. You know what? I think that this speech is absolutely worth watching. So you will find that on YouTube. Just type in IFA and Albert Einstein, you will find it there.
Yeah, you're right. And of course, IFA made history. So the first color TV was shown at the IFA, the first Walkman, the first OLED TV was shown there. So you see, IFA had a good heritage, and we are able to bring this heritage into a new modern format with IFA 100.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say a new exciting format, because some of the critics stated that IFA is kind of dusty and outdated. What are you doing to counter this?
Yeah, so maybe if you take a look at other formats of fairs and shows, it is absolutely necessary to not only create a classical trade show, you had to create a cultural moment to be relevant. And that is exactly what we want to do. Not only an industry event, we want to create a cultural show, and we want that participants are celebrating the future of technology on that show, on that fair.
Can you tell us a bit about your vision for IFA, and also in specific talk a bit more about how you plan to evolve the brand?
For us, it's very, very important that we're getting younger, that we're getting more international. That are two key topics that we want to focus on. As I told you before, less transactional marketplace, more show, more entertainment, more meaningful experiences. And that leads to the fact of cultural moments. The new inspiration for our visitors in collaboration with exhibitors and a clear focus on younger generation. That is what we are looking for. We want to sharpening the IFA brand. And one thing we definitely want to do is that the OEM people, that means customer who are producing OEM products, are currently a big important part of the IFA. It stays a big important part of the IFA, but we will put them into the station. Many people of you know. The station is a different place in Berlin. The IFA was already doing there something with the global markets 2 or 3 years ago. This year we want to sharpening the IFA brand, focusing on end consumer and B2B. That leads to the fact that we take out global markets to this other place without losing the focus on it. We will create advertisement for it. We will of course do shuttles and so on.
Now, let me just ask one more thing with regards to the brand. If we look at the brand statement again, celebrate culture's greatest tech innovation. Can you tell us why this somewhat grasped the core of IFA, of the new idea of IFA?
So celebrate culture's greatest tech innovation, I think describes perfectly what we want to change and what we want to focus on. Our brand values, what IFA stands for, that is a question I hear very, very often because it was not maybe 100% clear in the past. First of all, it's trust. Trust for each other, but also trust to the brand, trust what happened there. Curiosity. People who come to IFA are curious, and we had to keep them curious, showing always the newest stuff. Community, people doing things together. That is a trend that we definitely had and will focus on. And last but not least, inspiration. If we focus on these 4 brand values, we will be successful.
Yeah, that sounds really, really interesting, Leif. So you say you want to create better customer experiences. You want to also use Berlin more as a playground for everything. And now, as I understand you, it's less about being a transactional marketplace, which of course is important, right? It's about return on investment at the end of the day. But it's also about you have a playing field for storytelling around these innovations, really immersive experiences for all consumers that they can come to the trade show. They would decide maybe if they would go to the cinema or to other exciting things, but then also to IFA, right? And this is what you want to create, as I understand you.
That's right.
So now, one key element of the IFA experience is always, and has always been, that people get their hands really onto these new exciting gadgets. How do you want to encourage more exhibitors, again, to show their latest developments at IFA?
Yeah, Ole, you mentioned in the beginning, the combination of B2B and B2C is, in my opinion, a big strength. It's not a hurdle, it's a big strength because that makes us unique, that makes us even more relevant. So to create a real cultural highlight will lead to the fact that also the interest of you is growing by far. And the IFA is not only the gateway to Europe, but it is a gateway. It is also a path for the rest of Asia, US, and so on, all over the world, to use IFA as a possible and the most important playground for technology. Berlin, as mentioned on the slide, is a perfect place for that. You know, it's easy for me to say it because I'm a Berliner, that's clear, but
I love it as well.
It is the startup city in Germany. It is the, let's say, place of our government. It's the place where the most culture in Germany, maybe in Europe, come together. So that is a special place for IFA, and that also helps us in this environment to create moments that nobody will forget.
Absolutely, Leif. I absolutely agree. Berlin is such a thriving hotspot, such a thriving metropolis with this startup ecosystem that you just mentioned. And this is also part of the IFA heritage, of course, as its hometown. So getting more of this into the IFA brand, I think, is of benefit for everyone. Now, it's not only that you're the new CEO and that you have have to create that new vision
Yes.
for IFA. But it's also, that's a very special IFA next year. It's the 100th anniversary of IFA. So can you tell us a bit about what you're planning?
Yeah. We will use, on the one hand, the heritage. We will also show the future of innovation, where it's going to, as with Berlin as a stage. We want and we will create a glamorous gala because it's the 100th years anniversary. We will combine that with a world-class conference concept. What does it mean? Maybe you remember this year we had a speaker set of 200, and we had many good speakers, but it was not focused enough. And this year we will focus on quality, not on quantity, and we will talking about the most relevant topic people talking about. That means, for example, in this moment AI, tomorrow maybe quantum computers, but what we will definitely will ensure is what we talk about on next year's IFA will absolutely the most important thing people talk in this moment. So we will prepare many things to be on the time, on the top.
Yeah, and always also discussing the cultural impact of all these technologies, right? If we talk about quantum, for example, or AI, not only transaction, what does the technology do, but also how does it change the way we work? How does it change the way we live? And I think this is really exciting that you're opening up to these kind of discussions as well, as they are societal relevant. Now, for end consumers, you mentioned already it should be more of an experience. What exactly do you plan?
Rebranding is the most important, let's say, topic for us. We are more social oriented. We are looking more on the right spots.
So what do you mean by the attractive entertainment program? Can you give us an example? You said that in Summer Garden, for example, you're planning something with some more music program for the consumers.
Yeah.
You said that brand activations all around the cities is going to be interesting. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
You know, entertainment is not only reasonable in the city, it's also reasonable, of course, at the IFA, the Summer Garden. People from the past knows what happened, how good and how exciting it was in the past. And we want to bring it back, not only there, but also in the city and in also digital.
Now, one concept you already mentioned in our pre-discussion we had was a very special one your team came up with. Can you tell us about this concept?
Of course. Our team worked quite hard on a new concept, and it's a fantastic one. It's called 100 Moments.
What exactly is 100 Moments about?
So 100 Moments bring visitors in touch with innovations and celebrate the moment. So it's a citywide takeover. So partners and exhibitors, together with us, of course, will create these moments. These 100 moments are not focused only on the time frame of IFA. The 100 moments could also happen, let's say, a few months ago. We also could thinking doing a countdown in the city to the IFA, mentioning again and again these 100 moments. We have 3 different opportunities for them. One of them is a pinnacle in real life activation, let's say in a bigger scale. The other one is the same one in a smaller scale, and digital activation, let's say only.
So if we look at tier 1, let's say the largest activations, can you give us a couple of examples how they look like?
So for the bigger scale, one idea is to, let's say, open a pop-up espresso store to showcase the amazing capabilities of professional coffee makers. We will host tastings and workshops at a place where maybe nobody will expect it.
Are you a coffee drinker, Leif?
To be honest, not really.
Not really? I love coffee. Yeah. So I will go there. Maybe you go to the second activation.
Yes.
To the
maybe.
laundromat.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, good idea. The second one is to use a laundromat, everybody knows. So it's maybe boring during daytime, but in the night, it's getting, let's say, a bar, a club. And we want to use a reasonable, sustainable designer to create the atmosphere over there and to show some products. So I think this is a unique opportunity.
And this is where we would also bring in Berlin as a place again, right? So this is where we engage also with the Berlin community.
That's absolutely true. And this is also interesting one. 100 moments combined with computer and gaming. You see here a combination of AR with real life, and you see what can this mean. I think it's outstanding and reasonable good.
So these are the larger ones, but you also had some medium-sized ones, right? Tier
Yes.
2. Let's have a look at some examples there as well.
Yes. So one opportunity is to use gadgets that are already on the market, bring them together with consumers, do run classes, do other things in Berlin, and present the results on different billboards all over the city, and show that we use this as a moment. Yeah, this also is a let's say for the middle class let's say moment. We used a photo booth all over Berlin, combine it with a brand, and create special opportunities to do with a mobile phone or with the camera.
So these were the large and the medium-sized ones. Now we come to tier 3, the smaller activations.
This is a perfect example of what we see here on the screen. So this gives us also unique opportunities. For example, use it for social media, for Instagram and so on. People will link that to IFA, and this will help us all together as well to create unique experiences.
So that's a creative digital place, but there's also the opportunity for the editorial, you said?
Yeah, this is a classical idea to do a cooking masterclass and create content.
Yeah.
For that, with in combination with our brands, but important one is community here.
Yeah, and then to create content and publish that content throughout all the relevant channels together with the brands, right?
That's true.
Wow, this is a lot of stuff going on there live, a lot of great content. First of all, congratulations to your new role, to all the great ideas you have. I would like to invite all of you sitting in front of your computers or your TVs all around the world. You've already submitted some of your questions to Leif, and we have a couple of them already here. If you still want to submit more questions, please just scan the code underneath the streaming window, and we will get it here onto our iPad. And Leif, I would start with the first question from the audience, which is maximize presence of international reps of industry and retail. IFA should start on Wednesday. They are only at IFA Monday from 11 a.m. to Tuesday 3 p.m. to catch their flight. That's not a real question, I would say. That's more a statement.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, when the negotiation was done, that IFA Management GmbH is the new host of IFA. We also had to finalize the dates. But I already received during the survey, the C-level, some of that ideas. When I talked to several guys, it was not clear how important it is. But I hear also the idea more often, maybe it could make sense to start on Tuesday, because to get more international dealer, it could help us not doing it on weekend. But there are pros and cons for that. What I can say is we are taking everything into consideration. What I can definitely say is next year's IFA dates are fixed. So they start at the 6th, as always, on Friday. The opening gala will take place on Thursday. But we love that kind of feedback. Please continue like that, because we are happy to take this in consideration for the next upcoming years.
Fantastic. So you're always in close feedback loops with the market.
Yes.
And you're also happy to evolve around the customer needs, as I hear, ongoingly. Now, one other question from an anonymous source. Will the audio and hi-fi industry be more represented, e.g. with more live demonstrations?
Yeah, very good question. I love to answer it, because that keeps us alive in the last couple of months and weeks. Because maybe you remember the current logo of IFA. There is that called Otto, and there's a hint on his mouth and his ear. So that leads to the fact, of course, audio is an important point. And I feel by myself, being an end consumer when I was this year's IFA, that we had to improve our audio presence. So we are in discussions about different concepts. We know that we also had to be able to offer a sound experience at IFA that is not easy in the big halls. So we are currently checking how to do it. But what I can definitely say is we will do and focus on audio more, talking with brands, but also give them the chance and the space to do so.
Next question that I see on my iPad is, what is IFA doing to increase US-based exhibitors?
when we take a look at the detailed, let's say, analysis from this year's IFA, we saw a significant growth of clippings from US. That means the interest is there. Fact number 2 is this year's IFA is not crossing with the Labor Day. Maybe some of you will laugh about that issue, but it's an issue. I talked to many of them as well. It's important for them. And the Labor Day was crossing with the IFA in the past. This year it's not like that. And sorry, next year it's not like that. So that's a natural moment. But what we definitely had to improve is our communication with the American and US press. And that's what we will do. We are currently working on several projects. How to do it, I cannot tell more now, but what we definitely will do, we will increase our presence and our, let's say, information flow to the US as well.
And you will also be at CES, right?
Of course.
So you will be presenting there.
Yes, we get an opportunity there to meet us as well. That's true.
Fantastic. So America is the one big market, important exhibitors there, but also China is very important, and that's what the next question is about. Do you have any special plan for Chinese exhibitors, given the enormous amount of them?
Yes, it's true and visible that we have a high share of Chinese exhibitors, and of course we are proud of this because many innovative companies coming from there. At this moment, I also had to say we want that diversity also of countries. That means we also want to motivate people from Asia, from Taiwan, from Japanese, from Korea. I have a small insight if I take a look, and when I visit these countries, I was visiting Korea, Japan, take a look at the fairs over there in the last couple of weeks, and I can clearly say there's a lot of potential.
Yeah.
And of course, we will take care of our friends from China, but we also will take a big look and motivation to bring other people from India, from all over the world, and of course from the rest of Asia here. We co-work together with our agency to give you more information if you want to.
So there's one question. Will there be a focus on sustainability at next year's event, Leif?
Of course it will. The sustainability village this year was a starting point. We also see that we can improve there some things, of course. So sustainability, we also know that consumers are asking for it and looking for it. We will, let's say, renew the concept. We are currently working on that. And I think early next year, we can be more specific. That means, I think in January, we can present the new concept and will present a new concept, how to show sustainability.
Perfect. I would say we wrap it up with that.
I have one thing to mention.
Of course, please.
Because I have one question in my mind that I hear the last couple of weeks quite often. So I put the question to myself, what are you doing for photo?
Yeah.
Is photo important or not? Because in the past it was, but at these days it's not focused anymore. And I clearly want to mention we are in strong discussions to bring photo back, not as a side project, as a significant part of the IFA. This will help us together with some ideas that we are doing in the city, with galleries, with photographs. Also Berlin, I would say, as a capital of the creatives, it's perfect to do so.
Yeah.
But that, I think, want to really point out that photo is getting also a bigger, let's say, meaning in the next couple of months.
Okay, here's one more question with regards to our presentation that we were showing and whether it will be available via PDF afterwards. Of course, I would just take over that answer. Of course, it will be available. We are going to send it over to you right after our presentation here. So, and then there is one more question from Peter Cyprian, I see. I wish you every success for the 100th IFA 2024 and beyond for the next few years. The trade will fully support you and your team. Best regards, Peter.
What should I say? Thank you, Peter.
Okay, we have one more. What numbers of exhibitors do you expect? What numbers of exhibitors do you expect?
You know, because next year, 100 Years Edition, more focused than ever, and a program to attract end consumer. So we attract, I would say, quite more exhibitors, consumers than visitors than this year, quite more.
So as you mentioned already, it's really about bringing consumers more onto the show, match them with the right brands, creating these experiences, and yeah, having the entire city celebrating IFA's 100th birthday. With that, I would say we wrap it up. Leif, it's really exciting. If there's one thing you would want our audience to take away, one last thought, what would that be?
Yeah, thank you, Ole. So IFA 100 will be a unique and once-in-a-lifetime chance and moment. It's time for a new chapter of IFA. Let's celebrate together culture's greatest tech innovation together with us in Berlin next year. Thank you so much for listening.
So we wish you all the best for today. As said, you'll receive the PDF. And if you would like to see us again in spring, we will be back live with another international press briefing. So see you soon and hopefully see you in person next year in Berlin.
Vielen Dank.
Dankeschön.
Thank you.
Thank you.